Indeed, welcome everybody to the post-game lobby where we're going to discuss the EULCS power rankings by Zven, highlight your big plays of the week and more, as I am joined here by Stress, by Zven, and also by the Unicorns of Love's jungler Xerxe. And first off, congratulations is in order. Xerxe, what a victory versus H2K. It seemed like a tough one. That was a rough series. That was an intense series.
Yeah, I think it was the same last split. I think we won the first game and then the second game we lost. So it's pretty much like the last split.
How difficult was it playing up against that Zach in game one that Jankos brought out? Okay,
so before the game, I was quite confident. And then in game, it was actually difficult.
Yeah. Were you tilted?
No.
No, never tilt. Let's take a look at some of the replays from that match. Unicorns of Love, in the end, coming out victorious, rather 2-1. A strong comeback to take back the series, or take the series rather, against H2K. And well, there's a lot to talk about. We already analyzed a lot of the former games, so maybe let's ask Xerxe about the or of the specifics of it, because game one in the end, even Visit Chachi and Exile, they were just having a rough game. So how was the communication after that?
I think we messed up around level 3 or 4 and Zach got a kill. And I don't think I played good either. I don't have my laners. So Zach was kind of free to do like whatever he wanted to do, and that's why he got killed.
We saw a lot of emphasis on Xayah, Rakan, Zven. Was it the champion picks that helped Sjokz and Hylissang look very strong in the early games, or do you think they're a formidable duo?
I mean, I think they're a good duo. They're very good at playing aggressive, first of all. I think Xayah and Rakan is a very good duo together. They have much playmaking, they have good laning phase, they don't really have any weaknesses overall, they have good scaling as well, so I think they played good on it. I think Sjokz's Twitch was very, very good as well. He had high DPS every team fight. He had, I think, only 5 deaths the entire series. I think Sjokz overall was very consistent in the series. Hylissang was a bit up and down. Like, he has moments where, like, what's he doing here? Why is he dying? Like, randomly on Blitzcrank. But I think overall, as a duo, they played very well today.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. Am I correct in assuming that, you know, Twitch is one of those hard champions to play, especially know when you have to come out in team fights and how you have to play it? So that's kind of a testament to being a good AD carry, or?
Yes, but Twitch is kind of a champion that punishes mistakes very hard. Like in this game, last game, H2K had the lead early game thanks to a good lane swap from the bot lane of H2K. But there was this one team fight in the bot lane where Jankos was on Ivern in bot without ultimate, and then I think Samus got 3 kills on the Twitch, and I got him rolling, and then the team fight power is much better than Varus. Like, even the Varus is a good team fighter as well. Twitch team fighting DPS is just much higher, and the team fights are carried very hard by Twitch. So, yeah, I think it's a champion that is not good in lane phase or anything, but if the other team makes mistakes, Twitch is too strong.
Yeah, absolutely punishing. Xerxe were going down the ladder in terms of jungle picks. It ended up being Warwick versus Ivern, which I don't think anyone especially expected from the start. How come you think you had to go down? Or I know that you rate Warwick quite highly, but what did you think of that matchup?
I don't play Warwick against Ivern. Or you
I talked about the last game, yeah.
The last game?
Yeah. Wait, it was Warwick versus Ivern?
No, it was Rengar versus...
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was messed up.
I mean, it's an old matchup from last split, and both junglers got nerfed. So I think Ivern has the upper hand because he outscales Rengar, but I think Rengar has pressure early and mid game.
Sorry, I was completely confused. It was such an interesting series. That,
it was the Kazakhs who saw the Warwick into.
Exactly.
But you seem to be the only jungler that's still bringing out the Warwick.
I don't know. I just love Warwick. I think I think the champion does really fine against those early junglers. Like Kha'Zix, at least, listen.
And then you pair it with the Xayah, the Rakan, you get somebody already CC'd.
Well. So it was pretty easy to play.
Yeah, it did seem like a pretty deadly combo. I want to take a step back and kind of look at what does this mean, because I feel like we're going to talk about Fnatic versus G2 later, and obviously we have kind of the idea that G2 isn't on full strength yet, so maybe we don't take that for 100%, even though Fnatic was strong. But in this one, the Unicorns of Love versus H2K, it seems like it was two teams who are completely on top of their game already, because you guys came into the split seemingly super prepared in practice. The same goes for H2K. So how much confidence does that give you going further?
I think right now we are really confident, even though we don't play at our best, because I'm pretty sure, and I know we can play much better than this. But we are happy that we are on the top of our group right now.
If we look at areas of improvement then for H2K or Unicorns of Love, again, H2K didn't manage to beat the Unicorns of Love. So what do you think it came down to, Stress?
Well, for H2K, there were some suspect skirmishes that they were taking when they weren't far ahead. Game 1, I think, was a good example of how they closed out with a lead and took solid fights. on the other side for Unicorns, the thing I need them to shore up is Exile not overextending in the early game, taking 1v1s in a Vlad versus Syndra matchup and dying a couple of times. Like, these are mistakes he knows how not to make, but for whatever reason in today's series, he was making them a lot, and that gave a lot of windows over to H2K.
Zven, what do you think?
I think that in the second game, the biggest mistake of H2K was giving the Saya Rakan combo to Unicorns for free. They could have picked Thresh Saya or banned one of them or something like that, but they didn't pick any of them, and Thresh Kalista wasn't worth it compared to Saya Rakan, and they kind of just, it was just not worth it to draft. And then in the third game, they have a 3 pushing lanes in that game. They have a Ken split pusher, but they can't really use the split push so easily against Rengar and Twitch together. So they couldn't really play that comp to the perfection. And even though they got the early game lead, they messed up the bot lane team fight where Samus got 3 kills, and then they could never find the split pushing win condition anymore. And in team fights, they can't win. So I think they messed up their composition and their win condition a little bit. And Unicorns punished one team fight, and then they just couldn't win anymore. Yeah,
it does sound like you, and over the course of the 3 games when we were analyzing, you were thinking that the draft needed a couple of more changes from the side of H2K after that very good draft in game 1.
Yeah, well, at least after the second game where I lost to Sarah Rakan, they banned out the Rakan, I think it was, and they kind of split the duo a little bit. You only need one ban to like kind of mess up the duo, so that was a good ban by them. And then, even though they had their early game lane swap, that was pretty good for them this time. They had the pushing lanes on top and mid priority from Syndra solo kill. That was really good by H2K. And then they had this one fight in the bot lane that Unicorns took on a good timing. They had no summoners on the H2K team almost, and got, I think, 3 kills for Twitch, and that was kind of what opened the game for Unicorns.
Yeah, and it always comes down to the fact that the Unicorns of Love are just great at team fighting and skirmishing. Xerxe, do you feel you're getting even better at that? And do you feel like there's anyone now, if you were to play them right now, who could be better at team fighting than you guys?
To be completely fair, like, whenever I see on Twitter or Reddit, like, everyone is praising our team fight, and I'm not even aware that we are that good at team fighting, to be completely fair.
So maybe can you give you some insight in, do you feel like when you're making calls in a team fight or that you're always going for the right target, do you feel like that's on the same page when you're in a game?
It comes pretty natural from everyone. Like, everyone understands what they need to do in the team fight, what's our condition in a team fight, and we just play around it. Yeah,
I guess that says it all, right? You're not even thinking about it and it's going well, while other teams are trying to figure out that, you know, they want to do better at team fighting and want to get better at it.
I think generally there's a couple of things that more often than not go well for you guys that other teams mess up, whether it's, you know, Sjokz staying alive and people actually peeling for him for a while. Xerxe seems to, whenever he's got Shen or a champion that has this massive crowd control, like get 2-3 people in every single fight. And I think that just makes it difficult when the small things are going well in a team fight, you manage to turn it around. And as you said, you might not be thinking about it, but I mean, that's a good thing to have, right? That Xerxe's like not even thinking and he's like, oh, 3-person taunt.
Yeah, absolutely. Zven, where would you say the G2 team fighting synergy coordination is at right now?
I think our team fighting is pretty good. I have same thing as Sjokz, that we don't actually like think about team fighting that much. We don't like talk about it. We don't think about us being good at team fighting. It just, everyone knows their own individual role in team fights, and then sometimes we try to improve our communication, like, okay, this guy has no ult, this guy has no flash, communicate that, and then we end up screaming like, whoa, 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 in team fights. But I think we don't really talk about our team fighting. We don't think about it so much. It just happens that we're good at it because we have good individual players, kind of like Unicorns. Everyone just plays their own champion and plays it well.
Yeah, team fighting on point, and the reason I ask it is because obviously we know that you guys are still trying to get back to your super form, and we want to look back on the Thursday match, Fnatic versus G2, facing off in a clash of kings, absolute thriller of a series, and in the end, you guys just fell short, and well, that combo again. So can you tell us in the end what it was? Because Perk said, oh, we want to see if Zach's really OP, we want to sometimes leave the Shen and the cannon open and see how good it is, but is that also how you look at it? You just want to see if you can fight against it?
I mean, it's true that we practice a lot in LCS, even against NIP. We're playing Fiora and we're playing Janna, things we don't actually practice much in LCS. I mean, in the Scrim story, and we don't like know how to play it so well, so we try to practice it. Against Fnatic, I think we didn't really know how OP was Zach, how OP was like, how good is everything, you know? So we're just kind of just figuring out on the fly in the LCS games how good things actually are, and then after one game we're like, okay, let's not play Zach again, and let's just figure it out next game.
So were the Reddit detectives and Deficio who jumped on the hype train right that you were purposefully letting Shen and Kennen through just to see how OP
I mean, it's true that it's his best AD carry, and Soaz is much better on champions like Shen and Gary, like can TP bot lane, has good lane phase and they can TP bot, but we don't really ban these things because they're good at it, because they're the only team that plays it. It's just like, if you can, we should be able to beat them without having to ban those champions, because we wouldn't ban against anyone else for that matter. So I don't think we banned it because we was practice against it necessarily, but we shouldn't have to ban it just for that reason.
I was also thinking back to you guys saying, especially last year, that sometimes it's hard when you're the best to kind of improve at small margins because what mechanics are there to do that? Do you feel that it in a way helped you, the fact that you've come in a bit more untrained into this split, that you actually can identify things you can work on?
I mean, it's true that if you're the best team, it's hard to improve than for the other teams, but not really. It's a thing a little bit, but I think now that we don't have the best grasp of the meta, we play against teams like Unicorns or HK. They already have like a lot of scrims already. They know what to play. Fnatic same. They have the grasp of the meta already, so it's easier for us to catch up faster than normal because we don't have much scrims on this patch. We don't know what the Herald, Zac, Sayarakan. We don't really have like all these things. Like we don't know exactly what is good and what is not good. So it helps to catch up faster, I agree.
One player that I want to look at for the Fnatic side of things is a player that came in a similar time to you, Xerxe. Now, what are your thoughts on him in the few games you've seen from Summer?
I think he has been doing really good so far. He seems like to fit the team perfectly, and all of them have team synergy.
Yeah, when I look at Fnatic, even last split, a lot of teams were saying, oh, and scrims are great, they're going to be a great team, and it never really came out. And now Fnatic is at the top of the standings in Group A and looking in a great form. So how much of that is kind of the beginning of the split and other teams finding their form, or how much is this what was already there now being able to be translated onto stage, Zven?
I don't know about Fnatic being the best scrim partner. For us, it has always been Unicorns. This split has been good scrim partner. HK was a good scrim partner. They have good macro. They play serious. They try to like improve as a team. They don't try to like make it a scrim game of a full animal game like you guys always do. Spice always been a good scrim partner as well. I think last split we scrimmed mainly those three teams. They were all good scrim partners, and they're good practice, I think. So I think some teams play different in scrims than do on stage. Some players are better, some players are worse. But overall, I think most teams play kind of the same in scrims. So it translates.
If you go back 2 years and somebody said to me, Unicorns are one of the best scrim partners, no disrespect, you guys now are obviously a very different team. Unicorns used to scrim people and just go Cassiopeia, Yorick in every game, and every single team would say, we don't want to scrim against that. That gives us no practice.
Xerxe's like, why are you like, I wasn't part of that.
Right. But I think that's just a testament to the growth of the organization. And now, as you say, the serious scrim partners that you can actually rely on to give you good practice.
I mean, Unicorns are good practice anyways. They fight a lot in scrims, so you have to like test yourself if you can resist fighting and making the game like a 45 kill game, because that's what happens usually, and then you end up losing at some point or you're winning like randomly. So it's good practice to like test your like self-control to fight all the time. So yeah.
Yeah. Xerxe, who's your favorite scrim partner?
I would say G2.
All right, fantastic. All right, let's take a look at what the standings look like going into the final week of the first round robin, because after that, we see the mix-up teams and they will be playing each other. Unicorns of Love, they have a lead in Group B, now cemented there in first place, much like we saw in the spring split, and Fnatic is atop of Group A.
Yeah, I would say also for people that are tuning in, remembering the spring split, don't be too worried down at the bottom of the table. I know we're seeing 0-3 from both of the new teams that joined, but I would say they're way stronger than the Origins we had in the last split. Like, these are teams that are genuinely fighting against some of the middle-of-the-pack teams, and despite the results not going their way yet, I think there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, is there any surprises in the rankings so far for you, Xerxe, or is everything going as expected?
I think it went as expected.
With the Unicorns of Love #1 in Group A, obviously. Well, based on the first few weeks of summer, we also have this split is really promising to be a close race for the top of the European LCS. And we also asked Zven for power rankings coming out of week 2. So let's take a look. We put all the teams together and had the full 10. You scribbled them up for us. And in the S tier, we find Fnatic, G2 Esports, Unicorns of Love, and H2K. Then Splice and Misfits Gaming, Vitality in a tier of their own. And under that, Roccat, the Ninjas in Pajamas, and the Monkeys. And of course, I immediately want to go to that Vitality B tier for you, because to us it's been quite, the question if they were ever going to rise, but you seem to believe that they can rise above.
I don't know if they can rise above Misfits and Splice. I thought they were going to be better than they are right now, but they seem to be not as good as I thought they were. Even when they get early game leads, like they were games against Splice, Joko gets first blood in both games, Nidok has 4 kills on the Fizz against Syndra, nothing happens, teamfight lost, and then the game is over.
Yeah.
They had everything going for them, and just collapsed at some point. Joko has 2 kills in 3 minutes against Splice in the second game, and still nothing happens in the game. They just don't seem, they can find the leads, but they can't find anything else than the lead, right? So they are in their own tier. I think they can still beat Roccat, Ninjas, and Pyjamas and Mysterious Monkeys, but they can't beat anyone else on that as of right now, at least. So, yeah.
All
That's
right.
where they are.
Xerxe, is there anything that stands out to you that you would have drastically put somewhere else?
Based on skins, I would say Vitality are doing much better in skins than they are doing on stage. It seems like they're not playing the same, like it's totally a different team on the stage, and then when you play against them.
Yeah, that is definitely also interesting, seeing that they have a very experienced coach coming in. They have some very experienced players.
Yeah, we are still asking the question, can Yamato Cannon fix some of the bad habits maybe that Vitality's legacy players have got? I think there's one thing I've got to ask. There's a lot of teams, it's gone now. There's a lot of teams up in the S tier you're putting alongside G2. Are you telling me that Unicorns, H2K, Fnatic can take a game off of SKT, or is this just some modesty, Zven? Is that what you're saying?
That's not really how it works. Like, just because some team beats some team, one game doesn't really make that other team that beat them better than them, you know. But I do think that Unicorns, HK, and Fnatic are all good teams that could take games off each other. Like on different days, different teams could win. So they're in their own tier for a reason, and they're the best teams. And I think they can beat everyone else, but they could lose to each other or win against each other, I think.
Looking at that, to me, and also the way the games are feeling and the big top matchups that we've had, it feels just to be shaping up to a very interesting top four, where it is closer than in spring, and it is closer to than last year as well, Xerxe. Do you feel the same way? The matchups are closer, and G2 just seems more beatable. I think that's maybe the...
I think G2 seems beatable right now because they haven't played much on this page, but I think in few weeks / months, I think they will be at the top again. And I think the best teams right now are G2, UL or Fnatic, then H2K.
Yeah, we could put H2K maybe in a different tier, right under?
To be fair, we didn't have this match to judge from before we made this power ranking, so we couldn't have known this was the outcome of the match, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it'd be super interesting when after next week we go into the cross-group play and we will see, you know, finally how it's all going to play out. Anything about the bottom of the table? Stress, Mysterious Monkeys, I still feel like they could make a run for some higher spot when they go up against some of the teams that are more their caliber.
I also feel like they can beat Vitality. I think I agree that Vitality should be on a tier above, but I think if there's one team that's going to drop a game that maybe shouldn't, it would be Vitality against Mysterious Monkeys.
All right. Well, that was very interesting, Zven. Thanks for going on the record with that. We'll have a check-in later in the split and see how it all pans out. And now we're also going to take a look at some other strong performances, as we've seen a lot of them over the last 4 days. We're going to check out your top plays of the week, brought to you by Acer and Fnatic. They got the win versus G2 with the help of some comfort picks. And here's a tweet from @DizAbsi. He tweeted, "Please, can you refer to Shen Cannon as the Schenken agreement? They move so freely between lanes." Fantastic. Let's take a look.
Fully in time. Bot lane controlled, and a play happening.
Reckless going on in, bringing Shen to the party. They get the taunt, they get first blood. Reckless picking up Miffy.
Just waiting in the wings.
Shen ulti, baby! Here we go, Reckless delivering! The other ninja right on top of Zven, and that puppy is going down. Back to live, the action never stops. Reckless this time is on his own, or is he? It's Soaz tagging in. And now the tables have turned, Tricks out of there. And Reckless on a killing spree, 3-0, looking for expect. It's never just one member of Fnatic.
Yeah, Zven, sorry, we had to show like again and again and again. It's becoming annoying.
It's just the int cam here of me dying.
The int cam of Zven dying. Yeah, we were actually saying how, not to flame you or whatever, but you weren't having a good game. And usually when G2 is struggling a bit, you are still having an amazing game. So that kind of is a testament to how it's not just all going perfect yet. Is that true, or?
Yeah, I think in that last game, things just collapsed. We got the first tower against them, which was good. Against Shen, we got the first tower. We're like, that's pretty good. We didn't die early game to Shen and Cannon, right? And then at some point, Lee Sin just walked bot to our lane, and he just laned in the tower. And we're like, guys, what do we do here? Do we force a fight? No, we're on TP. They have Shen ult. Okay, so what do we do? And then we couldn't really find anything to do in this game, and we just slowly lost. And we were like, And then the entire Shen Cannon thing happens. Once you lose your towers, you can't really go anywhere alone as Kopmo. And I think my pick was really bad in this series. I should have not picked Kopmo. I should have picked Twitch in the first game as well. I picked the second game and I got banned third game. I think our picks were off and our play was off, but yeah.
Yeah, but still very close. So, I mean, silver lining, no?
Nah, I was kind of running it down in game 3. I was like 0-5-0 or something like this. It was really horrible.
A match to forget quickly. So let's move on to another play. We were speaking about Vitality earlier, and Sjokz, he came up big earlier this week against Misfits Gaming, and at LolXLama said, Sjokz be like, thank you for the Baron, Misfits. You guys are being nice. Too nice, actually.
Oh, where
This
is
is risky.
Justice punch. Hook goes forward. Decent damage onto Hansama. Knockback. He's in the pit. Can they take down Sjokz before they get the Baron? He makes it over the wall. Where is the smite? He gets it! NIP Misfits, you take the risk. They're more than happy to punish you. Look at Prophet. He's already breaking it in him. This is disaster for the side of Misfits.
Here he goes.
Gandalf not going to be able to stop them from getting into the pit. They're just going to keep going. Sjokz, where is he? Yeah! Oh, he does it again! I can't believe it. Sjokz is a monster.
Wow. Xerxe, I know you also, you've stolen a couple of Barons and objectives in your day. How do you rate Sjokz Baron steal? How much out of 10?
I think they were fine, but I would blame it more on Misfits because they took those 50-50 Barons. Like, okay, it happens once, but it happened twice as well, and I'm not sure if it happened the third time as well. And this should never come up to it.
You should never go into it. It was quite interesting because Maxler, obviously, he moved teams and he's now on Misfits. How do you think he's been doing so far? If you have any insight into it.
I think he's doing as good as last split.
Okay, well, that's pretty good, I guess. Or not.
Was good enough to beat G2. Sorry, Sven.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to throw shade the entire time. They were the only team. Maxler was looking
That's
great.
true, that's true. I think that's a great thing to keep remembering for Rocket because they haven't been doing so well so far. So, all right, next tweet. Finally, at Divius Dom wrote, okay, so Samux had a god-level submarine play there. Absolutely brutal.
And Jisoo falls. Samux! Oh, here comes the Stad United. He wants the big outplay. Dodges the hook. He's going to rat-a-tat-tat and spray and pray. 3 members of Mysterious Monkeys down.
All right, that was pretty damn sick.
It is sick.
Yeah, flashing the hook, then Chachi comes in. There's another one of those times where Chachi only got 2 out of 3 on that one. But still, it was enough for Samux easily to clean up. A couple of crits go in there just to make sure he can get the kills. But that looks impressive.
Yeah, it
Whenever one
does.
Twitch just takes 3 people out.
It's also nice to just, we were asking the question as analysts before, Xerxe, Unicorns of Love already did so well in the spring split, so where can you improve? Because you were the rookie of the split, obviously on top of your game. Chachi was the MVP of the split, and now it seems that Samux seems to be someone that can level up as well. Do you notice anything in like the way, is he becoming more confident? Has he always been this confident? Has nothing really changed? Is it just coming out? What do you think it is?
I think Samux has always been this consistent player, like, and solid. And, you know, he's not losing your game, but I can't say he's not caring, but he has some games where he's caring. He's overall really solid, and I don't think he had like any highlights so far. So that's why right now he has
Highlight reel. Or is it because you just had an amazing performance, or is it Chachi would always carry, or Exile would have, so he kind of didn't have a place to shine, it seems. So you guys should just feed.
we will try that next week.
Yeah, we'll try that, and then let Samux carry. All right, let's take a look at the matchups for the last week of the first round robin. Next week, that is Vitality versus the Mysterious Monkeys, Rocket versus Fnatic, kick everything off. Let's see, what are the Misfits versus G2 could actually be quite an interesting matchup as well.
Very interesting.
That it could be close, you know? What do you think, Zven? Tell me.
I don't know, but now we actually have a week of practice, so we can finally start to practice together with the full lineup. So, I mean, for us, it would be nice to win against Misfits. I think we should win against Misfits. We have 1 week of practice now, so yeah.
So interesting.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
We also get that Vitality Mysterious Monkeys matchup we were talking about, and then the similar matchup Rocket NIP on the last day. Really will cement going into cross-group play, where the standings actually lie in the bottom half too.
Yeah, definitely so. Very interesting there. That's Splyce. I'm really excited to see Splyce actually hitting the Rift versus you guys, because they did have a great performance today. We had Sjokz with his first player of the series of the entire year on Aurelion Sol, so they're definitely coming out to get you guys. How do you feel about that matchup next week?
I think they're playing really good, and we actually played them a few days, and we learned a lot from them. So I think it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah. Are you guys, Sven and Xerxe, looking forward to the cross-group play?
Yeah, but I'm playing against Unicorns first, which I'll play against someone else first, because we need more practice maybe for the Unicorns. They're the best team in Group B by far, so I would prefer if I could play Unicorns like a bit later, like week 6 maybe. But I feel like it's gonna be exciting to play against Unicorns and HK. So yeah.
Definitely will be. Xerxe, excited for cross-group play. Just want to skip next week.
I'm looking forward to play against G2 and Fnatic.
Yeah, I'm super hyped for the top 4
It's so hype.
Yeah.
It's not even the top 4. Like last cross group, some of the most high-profile games. Remember Origin versus Rocket, that 74-minute game? Not for the same reasons, right? But I think it's also going to be interesting to see, Nip versus Mysterious Monkeys, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, when you look at it, G2 Unicorns, that's like, you put that as the main event almost of the entire split.
Yeah, well, strong words, but I think you're right. It will be a very interesting matchup. Well, for that will do us from here. It has been a rough one for me, hasn't it? That will do it from us here in week 2. Thank you guys very much for joining me in the post-game lobby, and you, of course, as well, Stress. And we will be back for another week of action in the EULCS on Thursday. See you then.
Need a win. They want to silence some of those critics, but the Monkeys are hungry, and not for bananas. They want to get a W on the board. Does it start right here, right now? Let's find out. Kick was available. Flash followed kick, and instantly Justice punch. Now Mysterious Monkeys have found that they can go right back in. Troji locked in the pit. Do they have the damage to finish anyone off? But Wonder comes around the backside. Xerxe is gonna take down Jisoo.
I got a vision. I got a vision. I just ulted.
Nice, deleted. Nice, nice. Cut.
Sjokz knows he's sniffing him out.
This is so.
Oh, this,
so
if he just kills him passively, oh my word.
It's a battle of the celestial beings, and unfortunately, Sjokz is way too strong.
All they got to do is eyes on the Nexus as the shockwave pulls in two. Xerxe looks to fall. No, he's going to stay safe. They send the big comment out, and they're going to take down the Nexus, and Splice makes sure the Monkeys are history.
Here in game 1. Unicorns love Chance coming in strong. They're starting up on the red side. It's H2K on the blue.
That's the chain CC. Let's bounce back into that creep wave, baby. Visit Chachi taken down yet again.
Forward, Zven trying to start the fight off, but the Twitch is doing so much damage from the backside. You can't forget about him. Samix not ignored this time. He gets deleted instantly. Weaver's wall comes out, trying to dish it out with the threaded volley, but he cannot connect to the damage. Jay running for his life. Exile's in trouble. There's the Ren.
And Unicorns of Love get everything. They get the Baron, they get the fight, and Febiven is going to die as well.
Oh, this is a fight that the Unicorns of Love want. Good damage comes in from the Vladimir, but the ult has been used by the cannon. He does get taken down in the end. Twitch is on the backside trying to dish out the damage, but Nuclear is just as strong right now, and he's looking to take out Visit Chachi. The arrow comes in, big forward, wants to get a little bit more Hillside, trying to find the hook. Yes, Samix dishing out so much damage. That's 2 kills. Baron resetting, but Unicorns of Love, they've got it in their sight. That's what they want. Samix, he sees his opportunity. He starts to unload the damage. He's there to back up the fight. This is domination. This is the Unicorns of Love, and at the end of the day, they are uncontested at the top of Group B. Just a funeral pyre for Che as they burn down the base. They make it look all too easy. That's the win for Unicorns of Love.